Hello everyone, in this video I want to give the final project presentation of our project named Emotion Quantification and Recommendation. Our team members are Yongchen, Jiang, and Siyuan, Zhang. First, I want to introduce the motivation of our project. For the traditional recommendation, there are several methods that are commonly used, such as analyzing the user or item view times, and also keep a record of the items that the user purchases online, or use the user or item-based recommendation. In our method, we propose a original recommendation method that is based on emotion quantification. And this project focuses on both the users and the item sentiment. And we also incorporate clustering methods in our project. Here is the overview of the system. That is, we first get the Twitter from the Twitter API to analyze the sentiment of the users. And the next step is that we get the reviews from the Yelp and we analyze the sentiments of the customers when they visit those businesses based on the reviews they provide. And then we do the clustering analysis of business based on their reviews. And further, we provide recommendations based on the prediction of the clustering to those Twitter users. As for the dataset, we got the Twitter from the streaming APIs of Twitter, and for the businesses, we got it from the Yelp dataset challenge. Here we come to the algorithm part. First, we do the sentiment feature quantification in our project. There are mainly two methods we use, that is one-dimensional quantification, and we further develop it into multi-dimensional quantification. For the clustering and recommendation, we use the k-means clustering, and for the cluster prediction, we compute cluster centers and predict cluster index for each sample of the Twitter. As for quantification, we first want to introduce a polarity quantification. The basic rules of it is that we separate words into positive ones and negative ones. And we count all the words that appear in the dictionary. And for the whole message, the final score is the sum of the scores of each word. And in this way, we can get the final score of the whole message. For the particular words such as very, little, or not, we apply additional rules to them to help make the prediction and the sentiment analysis more precise. One of the highlights of our project is that we do multiple dimensional quantification of those emotions. Because we could see that emotions could be accessed from multiple dimensions like violence, arousal, and dominance. This theory is supported by the research named ANU. That is a dictionary that provides the scores of those words in multiple dimensions. From the graph, we could see that we could describe the dimensions in multiple dimensions, such as from miserable to pleased, from sleepy to arousal, and that way we could expand it to many other sentiments. Here are the steps of the multi-dimension quantification. That is, we first get assessment of every word in the dictionary, and then we calculate the assessment of the testing using weighted means of every word scores. And the next step is we get the coordination of the test by combining scores in each dimension. Here we want to do a simple algorithm comparison between the one-dimension analysis and multiple-dimension analysis. For the one-dimension analysis, we could see that the advantage is that it's easy and right to implement. And since one-dimension sentiment analysis has been developed for many years, is we could get access to a very large dictionary. But the disadvantage is also obvious. That is, the one dimension is too simple for emotion representation. For example, those two words, relaxed and excited, have totally different meanings in reality, but for one-dimensional analysis, they might have similar scores since they are both positive. For the multiple dimension analysis, we could see that it's more precise about sentiment and is more similar to human emotion. But the bottleneck of it is that the size of the dictionary. In the future, we could have more work on it, maybe use the dictionary APIs to expand the dictionary of the multiple dimension sentiment dictionary to make its performance better and better. In the clustering, we use the K-means clustering. And we use the K-means plus. That is a way to initial cluster centers for K-means to speed up convergence. As for the recommendation part, the steps is like we given a Twitter, we conduct emotion quantification to it, and then we predict which cluster it belongs to, and based on statistical analysis of the top 3 businesses in the cluster, we do recommendation to it based on the clustering mapping. First, I want to introduce the clustering mapping in polarity. That is, when the sentiments are separated into positive ones and negative ones, we do recommendation to those positive users provide recommendation to them based on similar emotion businesses. As for those users who have negative feelings, we recommend opposite emotion business to them because we want to help them to get out of those negative feelings. We hope that based on our recommendation, after they visit those restaurants or parks, they will get much better than before. For the coordination recommendations, we could see the mapping relations from this graph. That is, we recommended something excited to those distressed users and recommend some relaxed business to those depressed ones. And as for those excited or relaxed users, we do mutual recommendation to them. For the result part, first we want to show the clustering of those reviews. In our dimension, we could see that for the both dimension, the scores are from 1 to 9 to represent the intensity of the sentiments. And here is Excel about the in real world what we recommended to those users based on their clustering. Here is also a small example about get connected to the Twitters and Yelp. For example, somebody posts a simple Twitter that is "Happy birthday to you, my dear friend." Here we provide the scores in both 1 dimension and 2 dimensions. And here are those businesses we recommend to them. And we also random selected the reviews of the business named Carolina to see how it performs. From those words, we could see the love it and the great, highly recommended, and satisfying, and also amazing, very good. Those words we could see that they show a kind of strong sense of recommendation, and those users who recommend this are in a happy emotion. So we could see that this recommendation shows that the similarity between the Twitter poster and the Yelp reviewer. The next sample is, for example, we post a Twitter named "I hate this bloody movie." We could see that the score shows that the person has not a kind of negative sentiment. We also recommend in this method we recommend some business to the user, whose where those in those places people get satisfying, and their emotion get much better than before after they enjoy those, for example, delicious food or visit a cozy place. From this review, we could see that definitely worth a try, or is affordable, flavorful, as good as it looks. Those we could see that they do not have strong emotions about the business, but they also show that this place is really good. From this result, we could see that the recommendation is kind of successful, because after visiting those places, those users give quite good reviews on those businesses. And the third one is Twitter named "A Nice Cloudy Day," because we could see that those reviews are more neutral. And we could also see from those the recommended business named the Viz Barbershop, we could see that those recommendations and the reviews also show kind of neutrality about those places. That is what we want to achieve in our project, to make it more objective. That's all of our project. Thank you so much for viewing. Thank you so much.